Nobody warned her parents. Not a text, not a call. So when Claire showed up at her parents' quiet suburban home at 9 p.m. on a Saturday, she wasn't alone. Standing behind her were two creatures that looked less like dogs and more like small horses. Meet Nyx and Goliath, two 200-pound Mastiffs who were about to turn a peaceful retirement home into a chaotic wrestling ring. Most parents would slam the door, and honestly, her mom, Margaret, almost did. She screamed, but she didn't know that these monsters were actually giant marshmallows. Later on, you are going to see a moment of total surrender that is absolutely hilarious. The dogs decide that Margaret isn't a person, she is a pillow. They squeeze her on the couch until she literally vanishes between 400 pounds of fur and love. It started as a rescue mission. Claire found them at a shelter. They had spent their lives in cages at a backyard breeder, used only for profit. Nyx, the black female, pressed her huge head into Claire's lap. Goliath, the golden male, shook with joy. They were soulmates. Claire was broke. She lived in a tiny studio, but she maxed out her credit card anyway because she refused to let them be separated. For 3 months, it was beautiful chaos. They took over her bed, they ate her food budget, they pulled her down the street like a sled during walks. But then, life hit hard. Claire lost her job. She couldn't afford her apartment. She had 2 choices: give up the dogs or go home to mom and dad. She chose the dogs, and she chose to ambush her parents. The moment Margaret opened the door is etched in history. Her jaw dropped. One dog's tongue was hanging onto the welcome mat, the other let out a rumble that shook the floorboards. "Are those bears?" her dad asked, wide-eyed. Margaret shouted, "Absolutely not!" But it was too late. Nyx and Goliath had already trotted inside, found the rug, and decided they lived there now. The first week was war. Margaret stepped over them like they were landmines. Robert sat at the kitchen table with a calculator, muttering about bankruptcy and food costs. The dogs? They didn't care. They believed couches were beds and humans were furniture. They didn't understand personal space because they had never had a family before. But resistance was futile. One evening, Margaret was knitting. Goliath sat on her. Then Nyx sat on her. She was trapped. Robert walked in, and instead of yelling, he burst out laughing. It was the moment the tension broke. Slowly, Margaret softened. She started letting Nyx rest her heavy head on her lap. Robert started sneaking them treats. The monsters had won. The house had been quiet for 20 years. Now, it is filled with snoring, drool, and life. Claire saved the dogs, but the dogs saved her family from silence. If this takeover by 2 gentle giants made you laugh, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what would your parents do if you brought home 2 200-pound dogs? I need to know.